Okay, hello everyone. Imagine that you have a website and you want to build a mobile app out of that. I guess it's a pretty common scenario, and you just don't know what are the options. Let's have a look at it. My name is Marian Zikmund and I work for a company called TravelPort. This company builds a unique search engine for companies that want to have their own search engine, like telecom, student agency, and so on. Probably if you bought some flight ticket during last 10 years, you used some of our data. This search engine is called GoIVE. You can have your company, you just come to us, you say, I want to have my own search engine, something like Kiwi, and we will give it to your own colors, we will give your own data, your anything, your some custom prices, whatever. At first, we started building this 10 years ago. Classic PHP version, HTML, JavaScript, some logic, whatever. But then, 2 years ago, there came some business solution, some business idea that maybe we should do it again. Maybe we should build it from scratch with JavaScript. So we decided to build new React, Next.js, Redux, all the new modern features that I would like to talk about today. The thing is that we were slowly thinking about what if we do also a mobile app, but we didn't start with it yet. So that's why I'm going to talk it from this perspective. From perspective that you already have a website and you want to build a mobile app out of that. Website called website in PragueJS. In our case, it was Next.js, and I must say that it was a good choice, that it was very easy to build a very similar mobile app out of that. At first, I would like to start with some more business-related things, like not so much of implementation details, but like business. I would like to say, is that even necessary to build mobile app? Do your users really need it? Because there is a high chance that it's not like that. Maybe it's enough just build a responsive website or progressive web app. Right now you can even submit your progressive web app into Google Play. Unfortunately, you cannot submit it into App Store, into Apple's, but maybe it will be possible. I mean, like 1 year ago or something, the Google and was already supporting all of this, but Apple wasn't. They didn't like service workers, PWAs, and now they do. There is some possibility that in the future they will also let you put your PWAs into their store as well. Then you can build Cordova, the classic. You just take your website, you wrap it into Cordova, and you have something like a new app. Also chance. 1 month ago, Ionic React, new feature, new thing, could be also the way. But just think about it. If you only wrap your website into this Cordova, it will not be like the real app. You will not get this native feeling, which could also result to App Store punishing you and not allowing you to go into that place. Your app should really include features, content, and UI that elevate it beyond just a repackaged website. So let's say we decided we wanted to build that app. In our case, our customers still wanted our app because, for example, of some offline features, when you're flying somewhere, you want to see your flight, how it's going. So it's necessary. In this part, we do need it. You have options like native, Android, iOS, Flutter, React Native, native base. Whatever you choose is mostly decision based on business. Do you have programmers that can do React? Do you have programmers that can do JavaScript? You will probably choose one of these React Native or native base. Do you have many good programmers, iOS, Android, etc.? Let's start with the website. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to show you some parts of our product so that I can demonstrate on them what are the options, how to build it, how to share this code, and so on. This is a part, this is like a website that we have built, like the original one. And at first, we built it, of course, mobile version. Of course, I mean, mobile first attitude. So actually, we could say that we started with this mobile version, but it's the mobile version of website. Yeah, so you can see some specific things like opening menu on the right top side, which would be really weird in the mobile application. And there are some patterns that, of course, you cannot use, that you cannot do in the mobile application and the real mobile application. What has to be done when you really decided that you will split it, you will have custom application for both platforms and mobile? At first, you should probably design your new UI. You should talk to your UX specialist. You should build it so that it really looks really great. Find the code that can be shared. We're going to talk about it later. That's the most important thing in this presentation. Decide how to build it and build it. Design the new UI. On the left side, you see how it actually looks, this product, on the mobile version. And on the right, you see how it looks on mobile application. This UI, we wanted to share as much as possible, and I'm going to show you what exactly is possible to be shared. Copying mobile version is not enough. You really have to have different screens, you have to have different workflow, some models look completely different. It's not just copy-paste and you will have the same. So, the most important question, what can be shared? You share data store, API calls, configuration files, containers, various helpers, connection to local storage, async storage, which are some differences between different platforms. But then comes the last question. Can we really share the presentational components? I mean, there are some options. If you really want to, you can use one of these three packages, which are the most used for this. You see 15K stars on GitHub, it's pretty popular. React Native Web, you can just write all your code or your presentational components in React Native way. So you use view, you use text, you don't use divs, spans, ps, anything like that. Completely React Native, you only use the subset of their styling. And this package automatically decides if you run it on the web, if you run it on the mobile, and somehow implements it, which is great. It can be useful, but again, I must say the thing that you will have completely different screens, you will have completely different rules, patterns. So we came to the solution that it's not a great idea to use it. So we don't use it at all. On the other hand, there might be some options, some places where it might be worth it. Which is, for example, this screen. You see, these are details of our flight. You can just show some details, you will see more information. And on the right side, you will see this information as well. If you click there, you will see that it collapses and it looks completely the same. The thing is it a good idea to have it completely the same? In most cases, not. But in this case, it was completely fine. So this could be, for example, made by React Native Web or React XP, whatever. I would say it's a good idea. But not always. Again, we see, for example, logging functionality. On mobile web, we can have some module, which is completely great. It's enough. We have it as well on website, of course, and users are used to this. But on a mobile application, it would actually look pretty weird. Yeah, it wouldn't be like a pattern. So you definitely want to have your custom screen, custom workflow. It totally looks different. So the question is, how to really share the code? The Lerna part, the other Workspaces part, and so on, the most technical one. You can either copy it by hand, but of course, that's not the question, you're not going to do that. Or have a multirepo. You can share it with custom NPM packages. You can have GitHub, Git submodules. That's up to you. But in the end, we found out that it wouldn't be very convenient to do it this way. And Lerna or YARN Workspaces would be the best to use, because you will have auto loading, you will have one package, you will have shared history, you will have many other advantages. Let's look at them. The most important and the most well-known tooling packages for this monorepo thing are Lerna and YARN Workspaces. Lerna is older, like a few years older. YARN Workspaces is pretty new, but on the other hand, the YARN Workspaces, it's native. You don't need to install any other package. And actually, they do the same. They do completely the same. But Lerna is a little bit better if you want to publish your packages. If you want to take your shared code, maybe some UI, publish it somewhere, you will have some tooling out of the box. Otherwise, there is not so much difference between that. The actual monorepo, we decided to split our code into three packages: shared, web, and mobile. In the shared project, we can see what's there. In the beginning, there was just this website folder, which is like almost a starter kit of Next.js. Only in the middle, you will have almost a starter kit of Create React Native app. And in the right, when we merge it together, you can see that we decided that we split it into packages. In the packages folder, which is like a convention if you use it Lerna, you will have packages mobile, shared, and web. In the web, of course, is everything related to the web, in the mobile, etc. And in the shared is picked everything that we thought that might be shared between these two. Those are containers, data, Goal API is some name of our API that we are providing for our customers as well. So it's like data, some TypeScript interfaces, some library services, some configuration files. The thing is, if you have these presentational components, so components that only render some view, they will get some props, and out of them they will render something. How do you connect them with the shared folder? In the mobile and in the web part, you have these presentational components. So for example, component called login form, and in that you have like two inputs, password and email or name and submit button. That's all. It's very simple. It can be like really some small function component. But then you want to connect it somehow, so that when you push the button, it connects to the store, so that it connects to the API. And we do it with one of these three patterns. And it's very usual when you're sharing this code. You can either use render props, higher order component, or hooks. In case of render props, you can see all the code, how it's written. I don't think I need to say more about that. But for our purposes, the higher order components attitude was the most convenient. So in this presentational part, in this mobile and web, we have like this simple functional components, which is wrapped by this higher order component, which is in the shared folder. And in the shared folder, it has all the connection to Redux, to APIs, it has all the connections to everything, like local storage, and it works really great. This is a complete example. You see what I was talking about. These two different presentational components in mobile and web folder, enriched by this higher order component. And when you call, for example, push the submit button, it calls the higher order component. There is some submit function which is there, and which is passed through the props to the real presentational component. It does something, does some logic, and if there are some problems, or if it wants to return something, not just void, it will again through refs call some function in the functional component, if there is like a React class or something. Because there might be a problem in the shared components, you never want to build there anything that is platform specific. Yeah. So when we for example log in and it doesn't work on mobile, we don't want to call alert. Yeah, which we can call, for example, on website. We need to call alert.alert from React Native package, and so on. So, and definitely in the shared, you don't want to, in the shared folder, you don't want to load any of these platform-specific things. That would really never be great. Now comes the last part. I want to show that it's not that easy, because during this, you will probably face many issues. Let's start with the React Native bugs. React Native doesn't support symlinks, which is like a so-called #1 issue in React Native in Metro Bundler for, I guess, like 2 years. And there are many options what you can do with it. You can use different bundler from maybe how you can use some other tools that are written here. You can look it up everything. Or you just configure your Metro bundle with some special things, with some special configuration, like watch folders, external modules, which will solve it for yourself. Definitely, if you're going to do this, be ready for some Stack Overflowing and some like not good time. Definitely like a few tens of hours in the beginning, but in the end it will work really great. And then of course, if you decide to use Expo with it, which is actually really good for beginning, I don't think so later because of performance and some bugs as well. But probably using this, it will come with another set of bugs. Next.js config. Again, if you're using Next.js and you're using some parts of code from different package to Lerna, you should be using Next transpile modules if you're using TypeScript. And there are some other things which this module can do for you. Actually, this is the end. Don't expect that you will share like 100% of code throughout your project. It's not possible. I guess that with some healthy expectation would be like 50–80% maximum. We guess that we will be somewhere around 70. Definitely, the most important thing here is think about it from the business perspective. If you have programmers that are good at this, let them do that. If not, maybe the Flutter, maybe whatever else could be the better solution. This is not the only one. But if you're really hardcore stuck on React and things about that, around that, it's the React Native and sharing it with monorepo attitude. It's really good, very convenient, very quick. After first 10–20 hours of suffering on Stack Overflow, I can recommend that you will be pretty happy. Sharing business logic is completely fine. UI can be more complicated. Maybe you can try this React Native, but it's pretty popular as well, even though we haven't. And last part, the CI. Definitely you want to have some tests. Of course, tests in CI. That's possible. You can, for example, we are using GitLab, so you can have some hooks which will choose like which part of application you just update it, and based on that you can run different tests, you can run different pipelines, whatever. It will be again more complicated in the beginning, but it will be great later. It would be also great if it was possible to use some end-to-end tests with some same contract, like Detox for React Native, or Cypress that we are using for React on the front end, which is not possible. You have to write it completely separately, but maybe in the future something like that will happen. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Guys, do you have any questions, Marian?
Where you store the API, is it included in the monorepo or is it completely separated?
You mean the Go API?
Yeah.
It was just a connection to API.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the server implementation.
Yeah, and the backend implementation?
Backend implementation is completely elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's written in C++. It has nothing to do with JavaScript and JS.
Yeah.
It's not in this monorepo. But maybe it could be if it was in Next.js, if it was like in Express, whatever, in Node, it would be. Yeah, it would be convenient as well. But we don't have it.
I missed the start of the presentation, sorry about it, but you were talking about bundlers. So basically, like, what are you using? Like in the project, which bundler?
Still Metro bundle.
Metro, okay.
Still Metro.
So basically, like, you figure out some solution how to like overcome this symlink issue.
Yeah, we did, and it was helpful. Yeah, we were.
Have you tried how?
We were considering it, but you know, use like hot reloading abilities and something like that. So we didn't want to face this. So in the end, we rather suffered like few more hours and so.
That's why I'm asking, because like I'm contributing to the whole, and like there are many issues as well. You know, it's not easy.
But otherwise, it would be pretty good, like with this hot reloading and
it's
a
hard.
few more.
Open source is hard.
Yeah, I agree with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have actually a question. How long it took you to set it up properly, to connect everything together and make it work?
It was like a month and a half.
Okay.
And it was like 1.5 programmer maybe working on it. So
Okay.
it was pretty quick, just copying like a website which was completely built before and just making mobile app version out of that in a month. I guess it's not too bad.
And what was the biggest headache you actually found on your way?
Actually, the React Native issues. Yeah, because sometimes, especially in the beginning, we were starting with Expo, which was pretty good, but I would really like eject from Expo after it's first uploaded into stores. I guess that there are some problems with it. It would be easier to have it without. But in the beginning, it really speeds up your process like tremendously. Yeah. So definitely the first one, like the first tens of hours of Stack overflowing and hoping that this issue will be resolved, these React Native issues, Metro bundle and everything around.
Okay. More questions?
what's your approach for navigation, and did you have any problems with that? Or?
Yeah, definitely we have problems with that. I mean, since we're talking both web, both mobile, so Next.js we have like the simplest navigation ever, just page folder and it reads the names of your files and you have routing out of the box, so that's awesome. I would love to do something like that on a mobile. Actually, we were also implementing some open source which reads this folder and builds something like that with React Native and React Navigation, but that's not the case of this talk. Anyway, to your question, React Navigation. We started with React Navigation and we still have it right now, but there are some pretty problems like of performance with it, which may be like because of our implementation. I wouldn't say that it's so bad, but definitely we will move like in a week to React Native navigation.
And on the web?
On the web, we have that Next.js. Next.js which has it out of the box. We don't need any React router, nothing like that. And it's really convenient with also with server-side rendering, everything easy, nice. So definitely wouldn't change that, but we would change React Navigation to React Native navigation from Wix, which is more difficult to implement because it's really native. It's not just JavaScript based purely, but it will be faster.
Okay, thank you.